a complete wellness center. They've got everything there from Pilates to dance studios for children and a whole retail store that all the products have been vetted. So it's not like going into a big box store.
Right.
And then, they have doctor's offices in the back and a 10,000 square foot warehouse. And as promised, we have Dr. Vaughn Lawrence in studio today. He's going to talk to us a little bit about his place, spiritofhealthkc.com. You want to tell, did I miss anything?
Sure. No, I think you covered it. Yeah, we got over 200 bulk herbs, all organic or wild crafted, 60 of our own formulas. We have a whole therapies department where we do
I forgot that
sauna, ion detox foot bath. There's 6 or 7 therapies we do as well. Those are amazing. And then, you mentioned the consultations. We do lab testing, all different kinds of samples to find out why people aren't well. We check for mold. We check for Lyme disease. We check for heavy metals. We check for candida, fungal overgrowths, parasites, all kinds of different, the real reasons people are sick.
So you don't get that kind of information when you go get like a lipid profile or any of that kind of stuff?
Nope. Yeah, if you go to a medical doctor, they're never going to talk about toxicity, right? You might have an infection, they give you an antibiotic, but they check your blood work, and you can find out a lot on blood work. I actually love blood work, but they're not going to discover any toxicity because they don't do those tests. How often have you heard a medical doctor tell somebody that they have mold or they have mercury poisoning or they have, herbicide, pesticide toxicity? That's not what they do.
I haven't heard of it before. So
nope.
spiritofhealthkc.com. I also want to mention that Spirit of Health, that everything's all their products. If you're looking for some of these, the difference is, what's the difference in going to your store and you can get everything from Spirit of Health online,
right?
And they deliver it to your home.
Absolutely. Yep. We ship as well. And
what's the difference in going into a big box store and buying my vitamins there?
Yeah, because most supplement, I wouldn't say most, it's hard to know for sure, but in the big box stores anyway, I can safely say most supplements are synthetic, poor quality. They're owned by pharmaceutical companies. Our supplements are only the best companies. I vet them all. Quality ingredients, no synthetics, no fillers, no chemicals, and whole food based.
Really?
Yeah. Versus having like these synthetic isolate vitamins, you can actually get supplements that are food based. They're way better.
I actually cooked with the oregano, back in December, and I didn't have to use hardly any.
It's stronger.
Oh, it's super stronger.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
better quality.
Yeah, a lot better quality. So spiritofhealthkc.com for more information. I'd also like to remind we can't. We're up for a break, and when we get back, as promised, we've got a great show for you about nutrition, and we want to get some of these things out there so that people know. This is Kansas City.
Come to the Spirit of Health Wellness Center, where we determine the root cause of your health problems. While the medical system treats your symptoms, we treat the cause. The true diagnosis you need to hear are things like Lyme disease, mold toxicity, and heavy metal poisoning. Get real answers, hope, and take charge of your health through our detoxification programs and therapies. Shop over 200 varieties of organic bulk herbs and supplements in-store or online. Go to spiritofhealthkc.com. Spirit of Health, transforming lives through real health solutions.
About nutrition. So, Doc, introduce basic nutrition.
Wow, where do you even start with that? If I was going to boil it down, we all know that the world is fake, the world is processed. We know that chemical industry and fast food industry, it's bad. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that still eat those things. I don't know. Is my job to convince you not to, to convince you how bad they are? I don't know. But
no, it's not our job to do that. It's just I would like to let them know, and they want to know
educate
too.
People. Yeah, I mean, really,
everybody knows eating fast food is not good for you.
Right.
But why?
Right. Well, the simplicity of it is if a food has been designed to last for months, if not years, that normally would spoil in a day or two, that's a problem. If a food has 10 plus ingredients, that's a problem. Now, I might not have this exactly right, but let me give you an example. If you were going to eat French fries, what should the ingredients be for French fries? Potatoes, salt, and maybe the oil they're cooked in, like tallow.
Yeah.
Right? McDonald's French fries have 17 ingredients.
Is that right?
So they're eggs. Now, again, you can fact check me on this. I could be wrong, but I remember looking at it at one point. Eggs at McDonald's has over 50 ingredients. So my understanding of eggs is the ingredients should be eggs, right? Like, what else is there?
Right.
But it's chemicals to enhance the flavor, make them addictive, so that you want to come back and eat them over and over and over. Why would they put 17 ingredients in their French fries? So that they're addictive. So that you go, McDonald's has the best French fries in the entire world. You got to have them. And you crave them and you want them and you want to tell all your friends.
It's not just McDonald's.
Right. Yeah, I'm picking on McDonald's. But yeah, it's designed for shelf life. It's full of chemicals. It's designed to make you addicted. It's designed to make it taste different. So now we don't know what real food tastes like. So what should food be? I always just think of like Little House on the Prairie. Like, what did we eat 150 years ago when we lived on the farm? We had fruits, we had vegetables, we had animals, products from our animals, right? Like dairy and eggs. And then we had the animals themselves that we would butcher and, eat fresh meat. And we have to do our best to get back to that because there's a lot of things you can blame. But why do we have an epidemic of chronic disease in America? Why do we have heart disease and cancer and diabetes at ridiculously growing numbers, more so ever than in human history? And I'm not saying it's the only reason, but it's definitely partially a large part due to putting these processed chemicals in our body.
I just Googled it and asked Google.
Okay.
So this is coming from Google.
There you
It's
go.
not coming from me. Fast food is considered a form of highly processed food, with roughly 85% of the menu items at major fast food restaurants classified as ultra-processed. These items are engineered with high sodium, fat, sugar, preservatives, and designed to a chemical that enhances flavor.
Right.
They inject them with nitrates and all of this stuff.
Yes.
It's
gross. It's not even real food, and that's the hard part. Is like people eat it because they like it because it tastes good, and we're just trying to tell people like that's not real. Like that's not real food. That's not what food is supposed to taste like.
Once in a while, it's okay.
I don't know. I mean, we don't.
Not for me.
Not for me. I mean, we don't do it ever. I mean, our version of fast food. Where do you think we eat when we go eat fast food? If we need something quick, Chipotle. Okay. Chipotle claims that like fresh ingredients. They make their guacamole every day. Now, I'm sure they don't use the best oils. I'm sure it's not like perfect, but it's definitely a way better choice than McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, like going down the list, right? I like Chick-fil-A. Like I'm a Christian. I'm open about my faith. Everybody wants to eat at Chick-fil-A because it's a Christian company, and let's support a Christian company. I mean, I'm sorry to say it. Their food is garbage. Their chicken is horrific. Look at the amount of ingredients. Look up a video on how they process and how many chemicals they put on their food. It's gross.
There are some fast food restaurants, like you said, Chipotle. Mm-hmm. There are some that use fresh meat and, when they make their burgers and things. So they do exist.
There are. I would just say do your research.
Yeah,
do not
have to kind of do your research.
Trust these food companies out there because their goal is profit. Like if a company can sell a hamburger for $2, that right there should be a red flag that something's wrong with the quality of this food. If they're making a profit off of something that costs $2, right? In today's world, that should be like a giant red flag. But we do it because we're cheap and we're on a budget. And it's like, oh, okay, well, that's only $2. Let's eat it. Well, why do we eat those things? I mean, they're addictive and they taste good and whatever. But here's the reality. We don't stop doing things even though we know that they're bad for us until there's a pain point.
Smoking, for example.
Right. Until we're in pain, until we're diagnosed with a chronic illness, until like we get some disease, then it's like, oh, maybe I should eat better. Oh, maybe I should stop smoking. Oh, maybe And so,
right.
Hey, I get it. I struggled with my own addiction. I'm not pretending to be some saint or something like that. We all struggle with different things in our world today, but God does want us to separate from those man-made toxic things and choose purity and holiness. And you'll actually find health if you eat real food and make real choices. Like we get meat from a local farmer. We do our best to buy organic, fruits and vegetables. Again, it's not perfect, but we don't eat things out of a box or a can. Very, very rarely. I'm not saying 100% of the time, but 95% of the food we eat is fresh food, and it's not out of a box or a can. And that's kind of one of the reasons we're where we are today with our chronic illness in America.
I went to the grocery store, and I want to tell you about that story, but a couple of weeks ago when you were on the show, we talked, and we did get a lot of response from this. A lot of parents feed their children and their families chicken nuggets.
Right.
How are those made?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Look up the video. I mean, it's...
Yeah, all you have to do is look it up.
Yeah, I don't honestly even know if there's any chicken in it anymore. There is some companies, I don't know who they are, but there's meat. You think you're eating a hamburger, it actually doesn't even contain meat. Like that's how bad it's getting. I'm serious. That's how bad it's getting. That it is so ultra processed that it's not even real food anymore. But, like chicken nuggets, for example, they take all the parts of the chicken, like all the ligaments and the like all the connective tissue. Like think about when you eat chicken, what do you want to eat? You want to eat chicken breast, right? You want to eat like the meat.
Right.
Right? Well, it's not the meat. It's all the parts. It's all the parts ground up, right? This is why hot dogs are so disgusting, right? It's just ground up like pig parts, right? It's the weirdest thing. So if you think about it, you're taking parts of an animal and it lasts for months and months and months, like in the shelf life of it. How many chemicals do you have to add to that to get it not to spoil? I mean, it's insane. And you asked me about chicken nuggets. Look up a video. They take all these chemicals, all these chicken parts. I don't even know if there's any chicken meat in it or not. And it somehow ends up to be this pink paste. It almost looks like taffy. You remember like Laffy Taffy or like
it's
taffy?
A gelatin thing.
Yeah, like that stretchy taffy. It looks like this pink taffy.
That's the emulsifier, right?
Yeah, it's all, so it emulsified, it all sticks together. And then they somehow separate it out and
they pour it into the molds.
Yeah, I don't even know how they do it, but like watch the video. It's the grossest thing ever. And like if you're a parent, like God bless you, I would never, ever, ever give your kids chicken nuggets. And if you watch the video, I would really hope it would convict you to not consider that food and give it to your children.
I went to the grocery store. By the way, the health impact of eating all this processed food, the health impact is obesity, cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, premature aging.
For sure.
It just keeps going down the list.
Absolutely.
That's what the cause is.
Right. The cause is man-made interference.
Yeah.
The cause is chemicals.
Because of why?
because it
Money?
makes money. It makes it cheaper. It makes you addicted, so you come back and get it over and over and over again. And it makes it so that it lasts for months, if not years, on a shelf, so you don't have spoilage. Think of all the loss that used to happen when your fruits and your vegetables or your meat, expired. Like it turned bad. It got rotten. And so that's a huge loss. So the early 1900s was the beginning of the processed food industry, where they learned how to bleach flour, right? They learned how to strip all the nutrients out of it, because if you strip all the nutrients out of it, it won't spoil. So if you can strip the nutrients out of it and bleach it, you can call it bread and put it in a grocery store and it'll last for weeks. But if you have fresh bread at home and you cook and make fresh bread, I mean, that stuff starts getting stale in a day.
Yeah, it
right?
does.
Like
Yeah.
real food should be eaten every day. Like when I lived in France, trust me, France isn't perfect. But one cool thing about Europe and France is people every day on their way home from work would stop at the store and buy a baguette, buy some fresh vegetables, and they would buy fresh food every day and go home and make dinner.
Because a baguette won't last the next day.
Exactly. Either will a lot of the produce and stuff. It's going to only last for a few days. In America, we go to the grocery store once a month. We stop up. We buy 10 boxes of cereal. We buy mac and cheese and rice-a-roni and all this garbage that just can sit in our pantry for 2 years and never go bad. And then we make it and we call it food, and we wonder why we have such an epidemic of inflammation and fatigue and sickness in our world today. And I believe a big part of it is the food.
And obesity in children.
Oh, yeah. Obesity in children, chronic illness in children. Yeah, I mean, never before in human history were people overweight.
And you can test,
Anywhere.
You can test for that, right? For obesity and all of that if they come into your office.
Yeah, I mean, we usually check more for toxicity,
Okay.
right? Like if somebody
Well,
has...
I guess you could tell by just...
If somebody has XYZ diagnosis, or even if they are just overweight, like you can check their hormones, you can check the
That's what I
toxin,
mean.
you can check the toxins in their body, the poisons in their body. You can see why their metabolism's messed up. You can look at their blood work, but a lot of it is either overeating, right? That's a problem too. Eating the wrong foods and eating too much of them, right? That will change when you get sick.
Yes.
90% of the time. Now, not everybody. They're like, I don't care. I'm going to die when I die. I mean, there's people like that out there. But most people, when they hit a pain point or their child suffering or somebody in their family suffering, they're like, no, we're actually going to change our diet and we're going to get better, which is what God would have wanted for us all along, to eat real food and to eat the things God provided on this earth, which was perfect and more than abundant. And we decided, hey, we're gonna choose the man-made way and eat all this fast food and this chemically processed food. And it's we vote with our dollars, right? You've heard that.
Right.
Our dollars is where we make the choices.
We want the lowest cost we can get.
Right. And if we wanted real food and we spent our money on real food, more companies would be making more food. So real food. So as long as you keep buying packaged stuff at the grocery store and going to fast food places, well, guess what? That's what's going to grow. And along with it, it's going to be chronic disease.
And you get addicted.
You get addicted.
They've got a couple of different kinds. Minimally processed foods, which it doesn't look that bad. They contain few additives. We're talking things like frozen berries, bagged salad greens, roasted nuts, that kind of stuff.
I think that stuff for the most part's okay.
I do too.
I mean, you got to look at the ingredients, and we don't live in a perfect world.
I do too.
I actually had this little conversation, let's say, with my wife. I don't want the kids eating frozen berries. And I'm like, well, I know fresh would be better, but frozen berries aren't that bad.
No, they're not.
And it actually preserves them.
Yep.
And so, it's not perfect, but if you look at the ingredients, it just says berries.
And
They don't put chemicals in it.
No.
It's just frozen food.
Right.
So that's a million times better than buying packaged food or eating fast food. So I agree with you. Like, quote unquote, minimally processed. Yeah, like maybe still read the label. But if you're buying a bin, like one of those plastic bins of salad greens, or you're buying some nuts, like you said, or you're buying some frozen berries, like that's okay. It's the ultra processed food, the bologna, the deli meats, the donuts, the baked goods, we can go on and on. It's funny because I think people know what's good and bad and right and wrong. It's just that like what's shifted in their brain to actually get them to change their diet and their lifestyle, right? What causes that brain shift?
I don't know what the answer is, but I can tell you this. You think that people know, and they don't.
Right.
When I was walking through the grocery store, I went down the cereal aisle. I couldn't find one minimally processed or...
Right.
And I know they exist somewhere.
They do.
There are some cereals. Mm-hmm. But I was watching some reruns of Seinfeld, and if you watch him in his apartment, the whole back cabinet is different kinds of cereal.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
You look at the ingredients in that. People think, oh, I'm eating this. This is all bran. It's good for me.
Right.
Read the ingredients.
I mean, there actually are cereals that are just organic shredded wheat and cane sugar.
Which they do exist.
And it's like 2 ingredients. We get granola. There's a brand called Purely Elizabeth.
Right.
And
they're bound with honey.
It's clean. It's organic. It just has some nuts and some honey or maple syrup or something like that. And so, yeah, they're just read labels. I don't know if I could say that enough. Like read labels. But do your best to buy fresh food. Now, we go to Costco, and they have a great selection of organic, fresh fruits and vegetables. So yeah, would it be better to have our own garden? Yeah, but that's not overly realistic for most people. So, you can stock up at places like Costco and get decent stuff. That's what we do.
And you know what? I can't wait for the farmers market to open.
Yes, which will open in May, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't wait because when that thing opens up, I like to go to the OP one.
That's the best one. That's the biggest one.
Yeah.
But for 6 months, you can get fresh food.
Well, Riverside is the big.
It's bigger. Yeah, it's bigger. But Overland Park's really nice.
Overland Park's really nice, and boy, they have now that they built the new complex, it's going to be open.
I haven't even seen it. Is it in the same area?
No, it's in a little bit. So they moved to an area to do it while they were under construction.
Oh, cool.
It's right there where it was,
okay.
In the middle.
They rebuilt that area.
Yeah, they put a roof on.
Nice.
So anyway, that'll be good because those are local farmers that go out and grow their own produce.
Right.
You can't get any better.
And can we say it enough? Support local farmers.
Absolutely.
Farmers need our money. Grocery stores don't need your money. Fast food places don't need your money. Real people need your money. Farmers need your money. Go to the farmers market. Please, 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 please. Like, I beg all of you to spend your dollars more wisely. Nothing else is going to shift our culture.
Right. And once you try the taste, just like I used your wild crafted herbs, once you have the taste
of
the new stuff, you're
real
gonna be
food,
like, this is what a tomato really tastes like.
Yes. That's why we all wish we had enough money to hire our own personal chef, right? Because if they use the right spices, the right ingredients, you're like, this is so good. And it doesn't have that chemically weird processed taste.
No. It doesn't.
So,
like, I got a hothouse tomato once because I was desperate, and it didn't taste. There was no taste.
I don't know what that is, a hothouse tomato.
Grown in a greenhouse.
Oh, a greenhouse, yeah.
Yeah.
Tastes different. Yeah, I don't like tomatoes, but people who like tomatoes will go, oh my gosh, if you get a fresh garden tomato that's like candy, there's nothing better in the whole world.
I know.
And you compare that to what you buy in the grocery store, and it's just not the same.
Let me throw a couple of these out there for you, and you tell me. Ready to eat heat meals. Ready to eat. You just buy
ultra processed.
And you.
Yeah. Is this a quiz?
Pizza.
Ultra processed.
Okay, you're right. Canned soup.
Ultra processed because of the high sodium content.
Correct.
But a lot of them, there are decent ones out there, like Amy's is a brand that has a much lower sodium content. Yeah, not ideal, but you could even consider that a better choice.
A better choice.
If I eat soup out of a can, it's usually the Amy's lentil soup, and it's very, very clean ingredients.
Okay.
Yep.
Again, read the labels.
Yep.
Packaged snacks like potato chips, crackers, cookies, and candy bars.
Definitely ultra processed.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, there are. I actually just bought some potato chips at Costco yesterday because the read the labels. This bag of potato chips was potatoes, salt, and beef tallow. It was actually cooked in real tallow, real oil. So how come some bags of potato chips have 15 ingredients and some bags of potato chips have 3?
There's the difference.
There's the difference.
I wanted to ask you about this because we are coming up on, summer's going to be here in 2 months.
Yep.
And, a lot of people, I like to cook out, but I use fresh meats and stuff like that.
Right.
It's hard to find a bun
Right.
that's not all this chemicals in it.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I do go to Whole Foods. We jokingly call it whole paycheck, right? Because it's really expensive. That's the sad world we live in today. To buy something real, it's really expensive.
They have it though.
Oh, they have it. Yeah.
Oh,
they have clean stuff. You can get sprouted buns or sourdough.
That's what you need.
Or there's better quality stuff. You'll pay for it, but it's better quality, and I believe it's worth it. My wife and I talk about this, and we're like, hey, we're all on a budget. None of us here are rich, but if I'm going to spend money on something, I'm going to spend money on quality food for my family.
One of the questions. Okay, I'm gonna throw this one out right now. Meats like bacon, sausage, lunch meat, and hot dogs.
Absolutely ultra processed. I mean, that's some of the worst of the worst. I mean, actual known link to causing cancer. 100% documented proof in the pudding that those chemicals, those nitrites, whatever they call all those things. Yeah, nitrates. Those are known carcinogens, known cancer-causing things. So
we still eat them.
I would put deli meat at the top of the worst of the worst.
We'll go over that when we get back. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with Dr. Vaughn Lawrence and Spirit of Health.
Come to the Spirit of Health Wellness Center where we determine the root cause of your health problems. While the medical system treats your symptoms, we treat the cause. The true diagnosis you need to hear are things like Lyme disease, mold toxicity, and heavy metal poisoning. Get real answers, hope, and take charge of your health through our detoxification programs and therapies. Shop over 200 varieties of organic bulk herbs and supplements in-store or online. Go to spiritofhealthkc.com. Spirit of Health, transforming lives through real health solutions.
And what processed foods really are. We went through some of the cereals, but I was shocked to find out that all of these were, there's a few, like we said, that aren't, but the majority of them are. Any of those advertisements that they keep playing and playing and playing on TV is to get you to go in and buy the product.
Do you want to know how you know when watching commercials what's not good for you?
What?
Whoever has the most commercials.
Really?
Yeah, because clearly their industry is making millions and millions and millions of dollars on giving you junk. How else do they have such high profit margins? Right? So fast food commercials. Right? You think of all these pharmaceutical industry commercials. Right?
Oh, they're off the wall.
All that stuff is toxic, and they have millions and millions of dollars because they make the most money. So fast food companies, right? They have millions of dollars because they're making money off of giving people low-quality junk. So anyway.
I watched a documentary on Post versus Kellogg's in the early 29 or something when they were just coming up.
Okay.
And it was the two big cereal makers.
Yeah.
Marjorie Post and then Kellogg.
Yeah. Dr. Harvey Kellogg.
Yes.
He was a medical doctor, actually.
He was.
Yeah.
But he found out, he hired people to find out what could enhance the flavor of his cereal against Marjorie Post's cereal.
Okay.
They both turned out really big companies, huge. And they did well. But the Pop-Tart war was it was really, they both tried, and Kellogg's got it first.
That's so funny.
I know. But, yeah. So, again, we said packaged snacks. We said, yes, ultra-processed. We said, now, here's the question. When I was talking about meats like bacon, sausage, lunch meat, and hot dogs, ultra-processed foods.
Yep.
There are some hot dogs, this was the question, that say minimally processed.
Right.
Is that true?
I guess I would just question that because they have to do something to get it to hold together. There has to be emulsifiers. There has to be preservatives in there so that it doesn't spoil. So there's no way around not putting chemicals in those types of foods. Now, I have found, I think at Costco, some all beef, what do they call them, bratwurst or something like that, and they were all beef, and it only had like a couple of ingredients. So it's better. It's better, but I still don't trust it. I mean, that's the kind of thing we might do like once a year.
Yeah, just for a cookout or
right,
something.
Exactly. And that's what it was for. It was for like a camp out. And we're like, okay, if we're going to get not the worst, what can we get that's halfway decent?
And then condiments and things like that, like margarine, mayonnaise, salad dressings, all that kind of stuff.
Same thing. Depends on what you get. I mean, we make our own salad dressing at home.
That's the smart way.
My wife makes all of our own salad dressing. It's so easy. If you got a blender, look up a recipe. Like, oh my gosh, AI, like look up any, like give me
blue cheese, ranch.
3 healthy salad dressing recipes. Throw a few ingredients in your blender, blend it up. Boom, you got real food.
We, at the restaurant, when I was back in the restaurant business, we made all of our, we did it because cost-wise, it costs a lot less.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just most here, I'll give you an example. I won't name the place because it's here in Kansas City. There's a place we used to go to here in Kansas City, and it's just a salad place. That's what they sell, mainly just salads. And every time after we'd go there, I'm just like, I don't feel good. And my wife would be like, I don't feel good either. But we're like, we're just eating a salad. So, like, that doesn't make sense that, like, I'm eating good food, real food. It's fresh food. And I feel junky. And we learned that it's the oils that they use in their dressing are junk oils. Most salad dressing uses like canola oil. And that stuff is ultra processed garbage. And that's what companies use. Why? Because it's ridiculously cheap.
Right.
So those are the omega-6s, inflammatory, linked to chronic disease, linked to heart disease, all the seed oil stories you've been hearing out there. It's true. We should not be consuming these ultra-processed seed oils. And that's why every time we went to this salad place, we felt junky after we left. So we stopped going there.
Did you, when you make your salad dressings at home, do you use olive oil?
We use olive oil.
Okay.
Only olive oil.
Right. Because
Yep.
that's healthy.
Yep. And we actually get it online from the Fresh Pressed Olive Oil Club because many olive oils in the grocery store are not real olive oil.
Really?
Yeah. It's a very unregulated industry.
I found one in Costco that looked really nice.
I would research it, call the company. Some of them mix it with other oils. Some of them dilute them. Some of them mix other seed oils with it to save on costs. There's all kinds of shady stuff going on.
It's just, we've gotten to this point. I don't know. It's okay, but this one really, and a lot of people need to know about this one. Beverages like soda, energy drinks, fruit-flavored drinks, and sweetened coffee.
Yeah.
Horribly processed.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I definitely think
it's right there at the top of the list.
Yeah, soda's probably the worst.
Yeah.
You know, there was a joke about coffee, right? Like, you know, Starbucks and some of these companies that, you know, there's actually, I heard this, maybe it's the rumor mill, maybe you could confirm it. I heard there's a lawsuit against Starbucks for the heavy amount of chemicals that they actually put in their coffee, that they're actually being sued. And there's a yogurt company as well. So there's companies actually now that there's lawsuits because of these chemicals that they're damaging people, and people are like filing lawsuits about it. But anyway, the joke about coffee is you go every morning, you get your coffee and you drink your coffee, and somebody says, hey, you're addicted to coffee. But if you go to one of those places like Starbucks, you're not addicted to coffee. You're addicted to sugar. Because it's just a sugar drink.
Oh, you're talking about the double mocha latte.
Well, what does real coffee taste like?
I just drink black coffee.
Oh, my gosh. Real black coffee is bitter? You can barely sip it? I'm
used to it.
Yeah, you can't, drink that in 5 minutes. You can't just pound a straight bitter coffee.
No, you just
sip it. Right. So all these people going to get these ridiculous, 1,000+ calorie, ridiculous amounts of sugar. It's just a sugar addiction. And then there's the added bonus that it's stimulating because it has caffeine in it, but it's really just a sugar addiction. But anyway, yes, they're ultra processed, all these beverages. The example I always give people is, what did God give us? What did God give all animals and all human beings to drink? Upon creation, water. That's it.
Right.
So why are we making other things and thinking that we need them? We don't. We need water. Now, if you want to do some tea and put some green tea leaves and make some tea, great. I'm all for
that's natural
medicinal tea, but really water and tea is what we should be consuming because everything else is man-made and unnecessary.
I was going to ask you though, some of the after my, what I'm going through and everything, they told me to, help with digestion of food and things. So what I did is I looked up and herbal teas, peppermint,
right,
is supposed to be really good for your digestion.
Mm-hmm. Peppermint, ginger.
Peppermint and ginger.
Yep.
That's natural, right?
Absolutely.
If I were to buy it in your shop.
You bet.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what God gave us. That's what he gave us for medicine. That's what he gave us to use for tea. But all these chemicals made in think about it. Think about what God gave us and then picture some building with a laboratory with men and women walking around in white lab coats with gloves and goggles on and making these chemical concoctions that they're going to stick in our food. And how on earth do we think that makes sense? But it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. You don't see the laboratory. You don't see the chemicals. You just see the end product food, and you're what's the big deal?
And so if you want to try to get healthier or more nutrition in your body, try to read the ingredients and stay away from all of the big. We just went to the fridge in the break room.
Yeah, I got some fruit here. It's great.
That fruit is great, but that parfait.
Yeah, I know
that was 50 ingredients.
It was a yogurt, and we looked at the back of the label. You know how you get a little sandwich or something at the grocery store, and you pick it up, and the label's as big as the package, and it's got 30 ingredients on it, and you're like, what on earth? How is there so many ingredients in this thing? So that's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, we're just trying to figure out the best way to get healthy.
Right.
Things like that.
I mean, really, you can simplify it. You can shop at farmers markets. We've all heard this a million times. When you go to the grocery store, where should you shop? Around the perimeter, around the outside, right? Everything in the middle is processed, right? Around the outside is where they have the fresh baked bread. They have the meat section with the butcher. They have the fruits and vegetables. That's all around the outside, right? In the center is all the box stuff that lasts for months, if not years. So right. And then a lot of times people ask, what do I eat? What does our family eat? What should we eat? And I really believe in eating nutrient-dense foods. I'm a big fan of organ meats, eating liver, eating animal protein, eating lots of fruits and vegetables. I mean, what's the majority of our meals? It's probably vegetables and protein, vegetables and quality protein, and that's really all you need.
That's exactly right. When we get back, I want to tell you a couple things I discovered that are not heavily processed that are really good for you.
Cool.
When we get back This
Come to the
Kansas.
Spirit of Health Wellness Center, where we determine the root cause of your health problems. While the medical system treats your symptoms, we treat the cause. The true diagnosis you need to hear are things like Lyme disease, mold toxicity, and heavy metal poisoning. Get real answers, hope, and take charge of your health through our detoxification programs and therapies. Shop over 200 varieties of organic bulk herbs and supplements in-store or online. Go to spiritofhealthkc.com. Spirit of Health, transforming lives through real health solutions.
.com for more information. And a couple of questions I want to throw out there to Dr. Vaughn, who's in to do the show. And I know that we have to close out the show shortly, but I want to remind everybody that a couple of things. And then the last question is, supplements good, bad? I think you say they're good.
Yeah, I think the right ones are good. As I mentioned, a lot of them are synthetic, poor quality, chemically based, coal tar based, owned by pharmaceutical companies. My goal, and I've said this many times, my goal is to find the companies that are taking nature and putting it in a bottle as close as we can, minimally processed. So how can I find oregano and turmeric and milk thistle and, all these amazing things and have it in a tea form or whole form or in a tincture form or in a capsule that hasn't been processed? So I think the right supplements are key. Like, okay, let's take cod liver oil. 1899 Merck manual. We've heard of Merck. It's the giant pharmaceutical company. In the 1899 Merck manual, cod liver oil was recommended as treatment for dozens of diseases and illnesses.
All the way up to the 40s.
And people would
50s.
Torture their kids every morning and make them take a spoonful of cod liver oil, right? But there's a good reason for that. And you know what? I recommend cod liver oil all the time.
My grandmother used to do that to us.
And we should still be doing it. It's all the fat-soluble vitamins, vitamin A, D, E, K. It's got all the B vitamins in it. It's got copper and minerals in it. I mean, it is like a superfood. So we should be supplementing. In our processed world today, we probably should be supplementing. It might be close to one of the only real things we're getting, right? If we properly supplement.
I went on a mission this week to try to find. I'm supposed to eat applesauce, so I went on a mission to find applesauce. I went to the applesauce aisle. A lot of ingredients.
Yep.
A lot of stuff. But you know what I found? A local company that makes applesauce, and it only stays good for about 4 days, 5 days.
Is it the Lewisburg Farms?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, because they have apple cider and they have the cider mill down there, and
It's wonderful.
That should tell you something if it's only good for a few days, right?
And all you have to do is look.
Right.
There are ways to get minimally processed local meats. You can. Mm-hmm. They're out there. Mm-hmm. There are some grocery stores around here that carry local meats that are really good for you. So you can find it. All you have to do is just look. So the answer is, supplements are good.
Yeah, supplements are good if they're the right ones, and especially the whole food-based ones. Absolutely. And I think we need them. I think a lot of people need them. I've seen a lot of lives changed from the right supplements.
Tell me about, I was watching a commercial, and it was for a deli. Deli. It wasn't for the meat. It was one of those,
like a chain.
Like a Subway store. Not Subway, that store. Mm-hmm. Just one of the ones that sell, it's not like it was in the day where, and I keep going back to that, where we had like Jewish delis that would make really good food.
Right.
This stuff is so... Tell me, have you ever seen a turkey breast that comes in an oval loaf?
Right.
I mean, you see it as deli meat.
Right.
But have you ever seen a turkey that looks like that?
Right. No. Right. It's not natural. And did you know meat, like red meat, like it's not pink?
Red meat, that's because they add the dyes.
Yeah, it's brown.
Yeah.
They spray it.
Yeah.
They spray it with chemicals to make it look pink because
Right.
that's what a person wants to see.
Right.
Because if you really went and bought hamburger meat, it would be brown, and we would think that's gross. So the pinker it is, the healthier we think it is, and it's not. It's just chemicals.
I had a farmer from western Kansas in, and she was telling us all about the cattle business.
Mm-hmm.
And her husband was in, too, and he owned a butcher shop where he would bring the cattle in. Now, they raised all grass-fed cattle.
Nice.
So he said once their time is there, when you cut them open, the only thing that comes out is a bunch of grass and hay.
Yeah.
And she said, don't ever watch the video of those corn-fed. What comes out?
Probably mucus and waste and disease and
It's just, it's a slime.
probably nasty. Yeah.
It's a horrible slime and everything.
Wow.
That's the difference.
Yes.
But that corn beefs them up big
right.
in a short period of time.
Yep.
But they can't live on it, and it will kill them.
It will. It'll bloat them and cause major digestive and stomach problems, and it would kill them if that's all they ate.
Yeah, it would.
Yep.
Thank you for being here, Doc.
You're welcome.
I really
Enjoy it.
appreciate it. And I will